springtime in Indianapolis. Round ball's long road culminated in the NCAA Final Four tournament. But March Madness is gone, replaced by the summer sizzle at Indianapolis Raceway Park and the NASCAR Busch Series Big Four. Defending series champion Randy LaJoie sits atop the points courtesy of consistency and 4 wins. Victory lane at last year's Kroger was his. But he's feeling the heat from Todd Bodine, who's less than 60 points back. And he's still chasing his first win. Can he light the fire tonight at IRP? After back-to-back wins at Myrtle Beach and a scorching inaugural at Gateway in St. Louis, Elliott Sadler is stoked to turn the hat trick tonight. And there's a rookie in the house. His name is Park. His owner's an Earnhardt. And he's already ignited one Victory Lane celebration this year.
I'm hot. I'm hotter.
I'm the hottest. But I have driven the road to the championship.
Stay tuned. Speed World is ready to heat it up next. ESPN, the worldwide leader in motorsports, presents Speed World tonight live from Indianapolis Raceway Park. It's the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series 16th Annual Kroger 200. Our temperature 77 degrees, humidity 62%, and we have clear skies. Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch. You know, last week the summer sizzle hit us big time in St. Louis. We talk about Gateway International. These NASCAR Busch Series competitors had to deal with not their colleagues, but the climate. Folks, the heat index, that's a combination of heat and humidity, 115 degrees. The track temperature, 160-plus degrees. But tonight, we're night racing, and what happens at night? The stars come out. The first star we're going to introduce you to is the man who's been here all 3 nights as part of Kroger Speed Fest. Here's Dave Despain.
Hey, it's been fun down here on pit road for the last 2 nights, and now we're getting set to wrap up this 3-night Kroger Speed Fest with the Kroger 200. One of the most fun things about this has been that in addition to ESPN and ESPN2 bringing the show to your living room, we've also been here live with all the fans at Indianapolis Raceway Park on that big Jumbotron screen, and I want to know if you folks in the grandstand have enjoyed these last 2 nights of racing here. It's been a ball. But now we got to start directing our attention to what's going to happen here tonight and the possibility that we'll see a bit of history made. Elliott Sadler wins at Myrtle Beach. Elliott Sadler wins in St. Louis in all the heat. And if he wins it tonight, he's the first driver in 10 years to win 3 straight in this division. How confident are you feeling?
I think so. We got an awesome race car. You know, we kind of messed up in qualifying a little bit, and you know, it's tough here to pass at IRP, but we got a good enough car to do it. And if we display a little patience tonight, I think we might see us fill up 66 Chevrolet in Victory Lane tonight. I'm
sure you also have a terrific strategy for gaining that all-important track position. It's top secret, unless, of course, you want to reveal it right now to all these fans and all the folks at home.
No, I think it'll be top secret, and you know, if I tell the fans that now, they might want to go home, and I want to see these guys hang around for the whole race, and we're going to try to put on a good show for everybody here at Indianapolis, and I'm just looking forward to it. It's one of my best tracks I think we can run at, and if we got a little patience tonight, a little good luck, we might put this thing in Victory Lane.
That's Elliott Sadler. Let's go to the front of the field. Bill Weber with the pole sitter.
Well, 1 year ago, Randy LaJoie came here, won the pole, won the race, pulled within 29 points of David Green, and went on to win his first Busch Series championship. Tonight, Randy LaJoie is back on the pole, leading the points, looking for win number 5 of the season. Can it come here?
Well, I sure do hope so. I want to say hi to my wife and Casey and Corey at home, guys. Mission, be home tomorrow morning, probably tonight. But this Base Motorsports Phoenix Chevrolet is running really good. We had to really put a lot of emphasis in qualifying up front. It's a hard little racetrack to pass on. It's a lot of fun of you out front, so I need to try to stay there.
Good luck tonight. Randy LaJoie leads Todd Bodine by 58 points. LaJoie with a good qualifying run, Bodine with a poor one.
Just one of many battles you're going to see tonight. Hello, everyone. Jerry Punch, along with Brett Bodine, who's subbing for Ned Jarrett, who's healing back in North Carolina after a little bit of surgery. And, Brett, you've been here before. Tough racetrack to race, tough racetrack to pass.
Extremely hard to pass. You know, these guys that are marred back in the middle of the pack, Todd Bodine, Elliott Sadler, Phil Parsons, they've got their work cut out for them tonight.
All right, a point battle at stake, and let's show you the points after 20 events on the 30-race, $10 million tour. There they are. Todd Bodine, 58 back. Phil Parsons in third for 6 consecutive weeks. Then Park, McLaughlin, Sadler, Jones, Sawyer, LePage, and another Sadler, Hermie, overall in the top 10. Now, what about this point race we're talking about? Todd Bodine. There's Todd Bodine. He starts way back in 21st spot. What a tough week he's had here in qualifying.
He really has, and I don't think he's really confident in his car yet tonight. Hopefully, changing the conditions from daytime practice and qualifying to tonight little cooler temperatures, maybe his car will hook up.
Well, he struggled last week, finishing 24th at St. Louis, lost an additional 21 points. Now you saw he's 58 points back. And how about this guy making a debut tonight? How can Tony Stewart be debuting at Indianapolis Raceway Park? He starts in the Shell Pontiac tonight for his car owner,
Joe Gibbs.
Joe Gibbs, exactly. All right, a lot of action this weekend. Kroger Speed Fest actually began on Wednesday night as Tony Stewart looked to be cruising on his way to victory. But then Jay Drake comes right across in a big collision. Who goes to victory lane? The guy who started dead last. Yeah, Kenny Irwin Jr. takes the win. Then the trucks came to IRP last night. The Cummings 200. Jimmy Hensley led 201 laps, but the restart saw a guy named Hornaday make the pass. And there's Ronnie Hornaday. He's the winner, drives for a guy named Earnhardt, as we are set now for night number 3, the third and final night of Kroger Speed Fest. Coming your way, the NASCAR Busch Grand National 200 coming up next. We'll be right back. Our speed road coverage of the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Kroger 200 from Indianapolis Raceway Park is being brought to you by Quaker State, the quality your car deserves. By Shell, moving at the speed of life. And by Suzuki. Your Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer has the ride you've been waiting for and the financing to get it. All right, 39 cars will start. Here's our Suzuki starting lineup. There's the guy, the first time a repeat pole winner in 16 years. That's LaJoie. He's flanked by Mike Magic Shoes McLaughlin. Back in row 2, Timmy Fedewa and Joe Bessie, last week's pole sitter at St. Louis. Row 3, the winner here 2 years ago, Jason Keller and Jeff Fuller, the former modified champ. Tony Stewart, 8 USAC victories here. What can he do tonight in Busch competition? Alongside him, Glenn Allen. Nathan Butke and Matt Kenseth out of the ASA ranks back in row 5. Row 6, there's Tracy Leslie and the car number 7 back in row 6, Danny Edwards Jr. Row 7, Dale Shaw and Elton Sawyer. Dennis Setzer and Steve Park back in row 8. Presley and Sadler in row 9. Another Sadler back in 19th spot. He's the guy that's won 2 in a row alongside Stevie Reeves. Taking a look at the rest of our starting lineup, 39 cars will start. 41 came to qualify. It is going to be 200 laps, 137.2 miles. In-car cameras, Randy LaJoie and our FINA in-car up on the front, and behind we have 7 in-car cameras. Behind him, Mike McLaughlin, actually alongside him. There's Mike Magic Shoes in the Royal Oak Chevrolet. Tony Stewart back in the Shell Pontiac. Here in an onboard camera, as is Elton Sawyer. Back in the Barbasol Ford, the Aiken Sutton machine. Back in 19th spot, Elliott Sadler, the Phillips 66 Chevrolet. He's won 2 in a row, going for the hat trick tonight. And Stevie Reeves, the former 2-time USAC midget champion, back in 20th spot. He has it on board as well. Glad to have you with us. Getting set for 200 laps of exciting racing action. NASCAR Busch Grand National Series style as Carl Simmons waves the green flag. Talking about he was concerned about getting to the outside. There was only one significant group, and it's up high, but he made it there early. McLaughlin back in second. There is Bessie in third, and Fedewa thinking about sneaking a pick to the inside. Thinks better of it.
Yeah, he's trying to check in on the inside there, and he just didn't have enough room to get underneath Bessie.
Here's Tony Stewart riding along with him a moment ago. Average speed here in qualifying over 110 miles an hour. They run right over our tread cam. They come right at you down into turn 1.
There's Fedewa back up underneath Joe Bessie trying to get by on that low side. Boy, he's got a lot of hard work. He out-breaks him getting into turn 3.
Timmy Fedewa finished 4th here a year ago. There's the big gap between McLaughlin in second and Fedewa back in third. Then comes Bessie and Jeff Fuller, who's done a whale of a job in Mike Laughlin's car number 45.
He sure has. He's turned that team really right around and really making a hard charge to the front now, trying to get by Bessie himself.
That would be for the 4th position, talking about the 45 Hunter Specialties car. He does nudge to the inside a little bit of Bessie. He was on the outside group, and now trouble up in the back straightaway. The car number 22.
Scott Legacy.
The 11 car back there also. That is Larry Pearson, the former 2-time national champion. He's involved. But as you said, Brett, pretty heavy damage on the 22 car, Scott Lagasse.
Yes, he looks like he's hit the front end awfully hard, and Larry Pearson's got some damage on the left front also.
First caution flag tonight. Pearson, 41 years of age, former two-time national champion, and a former winner here.
Larry drove away from the scene. Maybe he can get his car repaired, but Lagasse's car is pretty well used up, sitting on the back straightaway.
Well, there's Scott Lagasse's car, number 22, the Pest Offense Chevrolet. Now, there was already an initial hit. We're going to show you the second impact here down the back stretch.
Well, I'll tell you, obviously he spun off into the dirt here, and just tremendous amount of dust. And there's Larry Pearson. Couldn't see his way through, and then went into that cloud of dust, and Scott Lagasse was sitting there.
Like Scott was spraying for insects back there. Take a look at the cloud he brings up underneath that Chevrolet Monte Carlo, and unfortunately not a laughing matter for Scotty, because heavy damage will probably, there's the second impact, as the smoke and Larry Pearson unable to see anything. He tags him in the front as well. Safety crews are on the scene, but just that quickly, we are under caution here in the early laps of the 16th annual NASCAR Kroger 200 from Indianapolis Raceway Park. LaJoie is our leader. We'll be right back.
Moments ago, Scott Lagasse was here. Now Scott Lagasse has jumped in the ambulance. He is a very unhappy guy. They were trying to get him in the ambulance, and he said, just a minute, just a minute. Waited for the field come around and gave what was a very cynical, I think, round of applause to the 29 car. I think he thinks Elliott Sadler caused all that.
Well, Brett Bodine, that can happen, I guess, when you get a little bump, you don't know where it comes from. But a lot of times you do, and you like to be able to let the person know that you know where it came from.
Well, obviously Scott had a feeling where it came from, but you know, this racetrack is very difficult. As you exit these corners, you pick the throttle up so early in the center of the corner, you exit the corner, you might have a little bit too much speed build up, just decelerate a little bit, and the guy behind you just nudges you a little bit, turns you around. It's not very hard to have happen here at IRP.
No one was victimized more by that than you a few years ago when you were coming out of pit road, and suddenly a guy named Earnhardt and Tommy Houston decided to tangle, and you were just coming off after a pit stop, and boom, you lost a race car.
Sure did. We totally destroyed the Thomas Brothers Country Am car here. Just exiting the pits, had no idea what had happened to us.
That's the words of Brett Bodine, subbing for Ned Jarrett, who's on IR tonight, injured reserve back in North Carolina. Nedley, we know you're watching. Hope everything's going well and you're healing up quickly. Get you back on the golf course and in the broadcast booth, hopefully within a week. There's the rundown, the field summary. LaJoie, there's the man who has led 10 of 20 races coming into tonight. A total of 710 laps, more than any other driver in Busch Series competition. Little wonder he's atop the standings.
Well, absolutely. You know, he's so competitive, and this race team has come really strong middle part of the year. And, you know, with their experience, you've got to figure they're going to finish just as hard as they've ever finished trying to win that championship again.
All right, Carl Simmons puts the finger up, says next time by, single file restart. We'll wave the green hanky again, try to get after it. Showing 9 laps complete of 200 here tonight in the Kroger 200. Been a wild week here at Kroger Speed Fest.
Early on, Tony Stewart's dropped back a couple positions, and Nathan Bucky's really made the biggest slide. Started 8th, he's now back in 14th. This racetrack, if you just happen to get in the wrong lane at the wrong time, it's not hard to fall back.
And word is from the Sadler pits, the car number 29, that he did not touch Lagasse. They're saying he had no contact with Lagasse, so they're going to call off the green flag while they get the car and the tracks all in order. And while they call off the green, we'll pay some bills and come back with green flag racing from IRP in a moment. Back at IRP, restart lap 12. The first caution lasting 7 laps. You haven't missed a thing except maybe the fact that Joe Bessie might get past here. Bessie trying to hang on. You're riding along with Mike McLaughlin, and he's looking at the windshield of the guy who leads this thing early on, and that is Randy LaJoie.
Looking back now at Tim Fedewa coming off the 4th turn.
I told you Fedewa had a great run here a year ago. Was in contention late. Ended up getting a top 5 finish, but here's the 33 car as he tries to make a look inside of McLaughlin, who has the high road and will hold him off. timer.
Well, out on the track, Brett, Todd is not very happy. His car was loose for the first 2 laps, now very, very tight. He had trouble qualifying. In fact, they had to change the rear end gear. Then they got the qualifying setup that was in the 74 car and put that setup on Todd's car. And then his crew told me it was old driver that got him into the spot as well as he did. Meanwhile, Tony Stewart maybe having a temperature problem. Under caution, he had to turn the fans on. He was going to turn them off when they went green.
All right, a couple updates from Bill Weber in the pits, and as you're riding along with Tony Stewart, who started in 7th spot, now being shown back in the 10th position, debuting for Joe Gibbs in the Shell Pontiac.
Look at that traffic off of turn 4. These guys are in a hurry to try to get to the front.
To scramble too early here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. If you do, you'll end up on the hook somewhere. This track will reach out and bite you. There's some of the scramble that Brett Modine's talking about. Dennis Setzer going beneath Joe Bessie.
Bessie's really struggling. He's caught in the outside, which is here at IRP is the premier lane, but his car's not working well at all up there. And there goes the 47 car, Stevie Reeves and Brother Todd trying to get underneath Bessie also.
Well, our first caution flag produced an incident in which Scott Legacy had to call it a night. He's now standing by with our Double D.
Scott's okay. The car is not. What happened back there?
Well, looks like things were just a little congested. I'm sure that it wasn't intentional. Somebody behind us got into us, turned us around, but the best event Chevy was running pretty good. You know, it's kind of early in the race to tell, and last thing I want to do is be here talking to you as much as I like you, Dave.
You're being diplomatic, but when you went out there, oh, we got trouble. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, Tracy Leslie, a former winner here, gets looped around. Still no caution flag. Leslie gets the Lysol Pontiac pointed in the right direction. He did a 360 Joey Chitwood style, and we still don't have a caution flag. No harm, no foul, no caution here in the early laps. And now, let's look again and see what happened. Oh, no contact.
Well, there we go again. I think the 63 checked up possibly a little bit. Dale Shaw just barely touched him in the left rear corner and turned him around. What a job Tracy did in keeping that car off the fence. And obviously, no yellow flag. He's back at it already.
Different angle. Watch him coming down across the grass. Now he keeps the tires, the front tires, talking about turn straight, turns it back. He wasn't swatting flies, folks. He was driving that car inside that cockpit. And what a great job. And now he's back in the field. And Leslie being shown back toward the back of the pack in 36th position. He lost about 15 spots.
One thing he's got to be concerned with, did he flat spot those tires when he had them locked up during that spin, and hopefully he won't have a tire problem.
And the rule tonight is 2 tires per position, so that's a concern. Those tires are pretty critical late in the race.
No question. IRP is very tough on tires, and you want to treat them as best you can.
All right, we're going to show you a battle brewing back here for the 9th position. There's the Shell Pontiac of Tony Stewart, but this guy right here, Elton Sawyer, wants that position, as does the car number 3 behind him, Steve Park. That is 9th, 10th, and 11th on your screen.
We see Elton really driving the car down in the corner, trying to make ground on Tony Stewart. But, you know, Tony's got a lot of experience here. He knows how to take care of the tires and what lane he needs to run that car in, keep it smooth, and stay smooth on the throttle off the corner.
Elton Sawyer, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s in his last 6 starts. Come all the way up from down in the 12th to 13th range in the points. Now sits 8th overall. As you look out the back of the Barbasol Ford, there is Steve Park, who has gained 5 spots here in the first 23 laps.
Steve's just gnawing on that back bumper of Elton Sawyer's. He's very impatient, wants to get around.
Gotta believe there's someone named Earnhardt sitting back watching this thing from across town saying, okay, young man, just be patient, now make your move. Be patient, there'll be plenty of time and plenty of room later on.
Well, he's going to drive it down in the first turn underneath him, trying to get a bite on the bottom. He's got a good run coming off of turn 2. He cleared Elton Sawyer.
All right, he did indeed make the pass. That was for 10th position. As Park now being shown in 10th spot, you look out the windshield of Sawyer's Barbasol Ford. Up front, toward the front, battle for 4th. Jeff Fuller slips high. Jason Keller trying to get the Slim Jim car beneath that for position. Can't quite make the pass.
Can't quite get a hold of the racetrack coming off of turn 2. Trouble in turn 4.
One car backs it up toward the wall. Still no caution flag. And now Carl Simmons says, yeah, I got to throw the caution flag because he's actually up in the groove up high.
That's Mark Crow in the 80 car. bounced off the wall up in turn 4.
Clearwater Forest Industries Chevrolet for Mark Krogh, bringing out caution flag number 2, and there's the repair work that's been done on the car number 11 of Larry Pearson, the Curtis Key Motorsports machine. And there's the car number 80 that brought out this caution flag with a little bit of a spin and a touch of the concrete in turn 4. I firmly believe if Mark could have gotten the car down to the inside, that maybe they wouldn't have brought the caution flag out. But being up on the outside, that's where the groove is here, and no one would have been able to avoid him coming off the turn if they had been wide open and didn't see him.
Yeah, and they couldn't be sure exactly how wounded the car was, whether he had good steering, a bunch of flat tires, or what.
All right, second caution flag coming earlier tonight. 27 of 200 laps are complete. Yeah, you guessed it, LaJoie. He's still leading here at IRP. We'll be right back. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park under caution, you're riding along with the Channel Lock Chevrolet driver, Phil Parsons. But we got a lot of action tomorrow coming your way from across town. NASCAR Winston Cup Brickyard 400 on the grid live from Speedway, Indiana, coming your way at noon Eastern time tomorrow on ESPN. And then our live flag-to-flag coverage on ABC Sports, the 4th annual Brickyard 400, $4.8 million, 43 cars going at it for 150 laps, 400 miles. Getting set for a restart here tonight at Indianapolis Raceway Park. 29 laps are complete. Just finishing the second caution flag brought out by a spin by Mark Krogh. Carl Simmons waves the green. LaJoie, McLaughlin, and Fedewood lead him down to turn 1. There's a move on the inside by Park. Park takes a spot away from Tony Stewart and will look for another spot.
Oh, contact.
And Stewart's car spins. Wow. And Hermie Sadler tries to get his car woke. Can't quite. Gets a tag in the back of Tony Stewart. And now the caution will come out. We don't even get a lap complete here. As caution number 3. And there is some sheet metal damage on the left rear of Tony Stewart. We saw on the restart the car number 3 trying to make a pass. We check in now in the pits with Bill Weber.
Well, Jerry, Tony Stewart has a hairline fracture of his left thumb, which he's wearing a plastic cast on that he removed just before the race. Obviously, a lot of damage now to his car. He had already reported that he had water temperature problems, and they were concerned about that. Ironically, the man he was racing against there, Steve Park, had told his pit crew he had no tension in his brakes and had to jam the pedal all the way to the floor.
Well, a couple of up-and-coming young drivers apparently getting together. A little bit of a tangle over there. And Tony Stewart, driving with that broken left hand, couldn't quite get the car right. Look again, see if we can see what happened.
Just contact coming off the turn 2 there. Steve Park looked like might have slid up into the 44. Tony Stewart, and Tony almost had her saved and just lost it right at the end of the straightaway. But here comes trouble. A whole pack of cars.
Watch right side of your screen. Dennis Setzer gets by. Hermie Sadler had nowhere to go because Setzer had the middle lane. Sadler jams on the brakes and just gets a nudge in the rear, but that nudge produced some sheet metal damage.
Yeah, here they come up off of turn 2, and Parks just slides up into the 44, and contact was made, and the slide started.
All right, Stewart trying to hang on. Cars getting woed all around. Good job back there by Nathan Butke to get his car slowed down. He would have T-boned Stewart. As the car, the damaged Shell Pontiac comes around. Got to believe that years from now, we're going to see Stewart and Park running side by side, maybe in a different series.
Here we are in-car camera with Tony Stewart, and we saw the contact as he tried to save the car, whipping the steering wheel back and forth, and there's the contact from Sadler.
Now he gets the car refired. Here's Dennis Setzer on pit road. He has some sheet metal damage in the front of that Lance Snacks Chevy Monte Carlo. There's a look at Steve Parks, AC Delco Chevy. Tony Urey, the crew chief on that machine. Same car they won with earlier this year. Let's check in with Dave Despain.
Dennis Setzer in the pits. They're going all the way around on tires and topping the car off. This will be very close to the fuel window. They can run about 165 laps on fuel, and the tires have not been a problem. Remember last year we saw Sadler pit early, short pit. He's gone back out now just behind us with a little bit of sheet metal damage. Didn't look bad. I think they put 4 on that car as well. The point is you can short pit. And if the tires hold up, you got a shot at winning the race.
All right, possible strategy by Dennis Setzer, David Ridling through, and here comes the car number 44 down pit road as Tony Stewart's damaged shell machine heads back on the racetrack. There is Setzer's Land Snack Chevrolet. Speed on pit road 35 miles an hour. Setzer does get out in front of the pace car, but just barely. On the previous caution flag, we might mention that Joe Bessie was having a little bit of a problem with the car handling. Came in, made a pit stop, changed 2 right side tires. And Buckshot Jones also made a pit stop. How about Kevin LePage? What a move he's made.
Yeah, he's come from way back in 30th starting position all the way up to 18th.
All right, he's also the teammate to Dennis Setzer for David Ridling, so we'll watch Kevin's march toward the front. Meanwhile, we'll take a break and come back with more green flag racing action. It's the 16th annual NASCAR Kroger 200. Back in a moment. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park with all the action here in the early laps. We haven't gotten to mention much about this guy, Randy LaJoie, who's a defending Busch Series champion, also defending winner of the Kroger 200, and the first guy ever to repeat as a pole winner here in the 16-year history of this race. There is Steve Bird. Well, he's a legend in his own mind. Now, Steve's a good friend of all of ours, and what a great crew chief and mechanic. Talk about some of the guys he's been around over the years. Everybody he's had as a driver has been successful.
No question. Stevie really knows these short tracks and these tracks that these Busch Grand National cars run on, and has had a lot of success in this series.
42-year-old Steve Bird is the team manager. Billy Nasowitz is the crew chief for this car. As you take a look at Lyndon Amick, the reigning Goodies Dash Series champion, now a rookie this year in Busch Grand National competition. So he's been able to make his way toward the front from 35th starting spot.
All the way up to 23rd, and a little damage there in the left rear. But, you know, Jerry, here at IRP, we're going to see a lot of those kind of little damages all night long.
Got one that looks like it's running a little bit hot. That is Dick Trickle. So as we have called off the restart, so we'll take a break while they try to get a little more water in Dick Trickle's car. And we'll come back with green flag racing action, NASCAR Busch Series style, before a capacity crowd in a moment. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, we're continuing on Dennis Shoemaker's Chevrolet. That's the car and driver in combination that won at Hickory Motor Speedway. Looks like they're going to change the radiator there. Meanwhile, Tony is Shell Pontiac has had some sheet metal damage repaired in the left rear as this Joe Gibbs machine heads back on the racetrack. Riding back with Tony. His in-car camera, one of 7 on boards. We'll be watching and riding along with tonight here at IRP. Danny Edwards started 12th, currently in 8th spot, dropping for car owner Ed Whitaker, a longtime car owner that Harry Gant drove for a number of years and won quite a few events. And a spin under caution. Under caution, Mark Croak says, I did it there under the green. Maybe I can figure out what went wrong. Got to believe that maybe he's got a tire going down. Yeah, left rear tire. That's not going down, it's gone.
And a lot of damage done to his car on that spin. He didn't have that damage done previously. Yellow flag is back out.
All right, as you watch Mark Croak try to get his car back to pit road, they're waving the yellow once again. Let's check into the Tony Stewart pits.
With Brian Frazier, the crew chief for Tony Stewart. Your car's got a lot of damage. Did he tell you what happened out there?
Yeah, he said he's just trying to run his pace there and calmed down a little bit from a minute ago, but said he just didn't try to give a 3-car all the room he could, and he was like he was wanting to win the race here in the first 30 laps. We were just going to try to get us a good finish here and get Tony as much laps as we could and get started here tonight, but got a long road to hoe, but we're still on the lead lap. We're going to try to get back up there.
He's got that injury to his thumb, Brian. How hard is that car going to be for him to handle?
I think everything's pretty much just cosmetic other than our spoiler's knocked. We don't have much spoiler right now. It's knocked way down. We're just going to have to wait and see when we go back green how loose the car is or not. So we're a little tight earlier, but maybe this may loosen it up a little bit too much. But we're just going to give it our best shot. He's going to run hard all night and see what we can do.
Okay, and he's brought the shell car back here to pit road. They're going to work on it and send it back out. These guys were very, very disappointed about what happened on the backstretch.
All right, let's check in with Dave Despain. Dave?
Hermie Sadler has just made his sixth pit stop under this sequence of yellows. He's got terrific damage to the right rear. The crush panel is broken, and they're getting smoke in the car. They finally got the thing clear of the tire, so it's not hurting the tire anymore. They're talking to him on the radio. You think you got it fixed? Is it okay to run now?
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. We got a little sheet metal damage there when the car spun out. We kind of got into him a little bit, but I think we'll be okay.
Got the crush panel out of there, but the smoke in the car was the problem they were trying to resolve. Remember, he almost won this race last year and caught up in a crash very late. 6 pit stops under that yellow.
All right, and there's the Luxair Chevy. Glenn Allen, who was overcome with heat a week ago in St. Louis, had to be taken to a nearby hospital and checked out. He's back in, last year's Rookie of the Year. Comes down pit road. Joe Bessie getting some right side tires on the Power Team Chevrolet. Top of your screen, Tony Stewart comes back in again as work continues on that rear spoiler. You heard what Brian Frazier was telling Bill Weber about the car repairs they were making there.
They're doing some adjustments underneath that car. Bessie's car. Can't quite tell what to do. Almost looks like they're working on the trailing arm. They might be cocking the rear a little bit, trying to adjust the handling of that car. Joe is falling back in a hurry, and evidently they need to do something drastic to fix that car.
Well, his car had gone away in a hurry. Okay, a lot of action coming your way tomorrow from the Brickyard. Ernie Irvin gets his first Busch pole of the 1997 season. Nemechek front row. Joe will start along Ernie. Yeah, Irvin's teammate Dale Jarrett Yates has cars first and third. How about DW? Darrell Waltrip qualified fourth. Take a look at the top 10. Row 5, by the way, is all Childress. That's Earnhardt Skinner, Rudd Schrader, David Green, and Rich Bickle. Back through 11 through 15, Robbie Gordon, Bobby Hamilton, Sterling Marlin, Wally Dallenbach, and Awesome Bill. $1 Million Bill Elliott starts 15. 43 cars will start, and Brett, you're starting back in the back of the pack there, back in 42nd spot, but a lot of good cars went home.
Absolutely. We struggled in qualifying as other teams did, but we feel like we've got a great race package for tomorrow.
All right, riding with Elliott Sadler, some tempers flaring, some frustration. You can see some hand slapping and some smacking inside these windows as we get set for a restart. Cars coming out of turn 4. As the green flag waves, they go back to turn 1.
Sawyer took a look underneath Danny Edwards, and he's laying the chrome horn to him a little bit coming off turn 2. Steve Park looking to slide up rare on the outside. They've got Elton pinned down the bottom now. That's not the place to be at IRP.
Out on the bottom of the racetrack, there's Stevie Reeves. He is stuck up high in the car, slipping and sliding. Wayne Grubb goes by, and now Stevie waving apparently has a problem.
I believe he's got a tire down. There he goes, spinning around down in turn 1 and 2.
Right in front of Phil Parsons, and Phil Parsons jammed the brake zone, turned it hard right. I don't know how he missed him. Still no caution flag, and now Carl Simmons will put it out as Stevie Reeves can't get the car refired. And folks, the 4th caution flag of the night in less than 50 laps. At this pace, we're looking at 19 caution flags in a 200-lap race. We told you it gets wild and woolly here at IRP.
It certainly does, Jerry. But, you know, it looked like Stevie had a tire going down or something. He was really having a hard time controlling the car just going down the straightaway. When he got to the first turn, around it came.
There's the car number 96, Stevie Reeves, so successful from Speedway, Indiana, right here down the street, where the Indianapolis Motor Speedway is located. 2-time USAC midget champion. Let's see if we can find out exactly what happened. Here's the end of it. The car begins to slip and slide and finally spins.
Just as we saw that shot going into the first turn, we could see, and there it is right there, the tire's already off the wheel. But the tire was going soft as he entered the first turn. Phil Parsons did a great job getting around the outside.
What you didn't see was Phil about 100 yards back jammed the brake zone and cranked the car. I thought he was going to slide it sideways, and he managed to thread the needle and get between Reeves and the concrete wall. 46 of 200 laps are complete. LaJoie, McLaughlin, those are our front 2 cars. You take a look and see where your favorite driver is running. Dale Shaw, his 5th start for James Finch.
Matt Kenseth's doing a great job there in 6th spot.
All right, so caution flag once again for the 4th time here on lap number 45. We'll take a break and come back and sort of size up what's happening here at IRP. Back in a moment. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, there's a Stanley Pontiac. Todd Bodine, second overall in the point standings, made a pit stop just a moment ago. Why are we under caution? Well, take a look at what Phil Parsons saw happening right in front of him.
Well, I'll tell you, Phil had a decision to make right here, and he made the right one. He could have gone left, could have gone to the right, and he chose the high side, and it worked out fine for him. Boy, what a close squeeze that was up in the first turn.
We check in down on the pits with Dave Despain.
Here's the culprit. They look, they can't find a cut, but they think that Reeves must have run under debris. Most of this damage done in the course of the spin. Back up top.
All right, thank you, Double D. Restart lap 15. That caution flag, the fourth of the day for 6 laps. And we're just a fourth of the way through, and now we got a challenge for second position.
Tim Feedwell looking underneath Mike McLaughlin coming off turn 2.
Shuffling back at the back, got a glimpse of the car number 92, Joe Nod, ASA driver making his Busch Series debut. Cars coming right over you by virtue of that tread cam. There's the best battle on the racetrack, McLaughlin in 34. Well, that was as Steve Park just got by Kenseth, the car number 17, and that was for 6th position.
Steve Park really driving his car hard right now. You see him working that steering wheel on the inside in those white gloves. You can see him sawing on that wheel. But you know Steve's going to the front.
There's a look at the car number 3, Steve Park, and the battle's back in behind him. The car number 7, that's Edwards, trying to hold off Elton Sawyer at the 7 and 38. Dale Shaw in the car number 4 right behind them.
That's for positions 8th, 9th, and 10th. And Elton's been trying forever to try to get around Danny Edwards. Every time he looks to the low side, someone drives up around on the outside. He has to protect the spot.
That's Robert Presley back behind him in the car number 47. There's a 7 and 38. And Brett's talking about an 8th and 9th position. Now you're right along with Elton Sawyer. Show you his progression. 11th spot back on lap 11. He's gained a couple of spots here, just past the 50 lap mark.
Elton now, and he's trying to take a look on the inside coming off of turn 4, but just can't quite get a hold of the racetrack and get a run on Danny down the front straightaway.
Our field summary shows you where your favorite driver is running. A number in parentheses is where they started tonight, so you'll see that Jeff Fuller started 6th. He's in 4th spot. Sawyer from 14th to 9th.
There's a look from Tony Stewart's car. He's trying to work his way back up through the field, and he is in heavy traffic right there following Glenn Allen Jr. Now, those two cars had made pit stops, and they've got fresher tires on than everybody else, and that's why you might see them slowly work their way back up through the field.
And for you Tony Stewart fans, he did not lose a lap in that incident, that contact. He is back in 25th position, but still on the lead lap as he battles for position there right behind Glenn Allen. For Stewart. Watching him now try to move in. He lost some spots back there to Glenn Allen Jr. There's LaJoy, about a 7 or 8 car length advantage over McLaughlin in 2nd. Tim Fedewa back in 3rd. Jeff Fuller driving for Mike Laughlin is 4th. Jason Keller in 5th position. There's the interval back to McLaughlin.
Just about 1 second, 9/10 of a second back to Mike McLaughlin, and then it really bunches up the rest of those guys. But it looks like Randy LaJoy's really got what they call it, Ellie Mae.
Got Ellie Mae, his favorite race car. Ellie Mae, she's a cute little critter.
Well, Ellie Mae's really hooked up tonight. He's really out there cruising, leading the Kroger 200.
LaJoy, 2 wins in 96 at IRP in Nazareth. This car won at South Boston. Here's the Kleenex Chevrolet. Timmy Fedewa had a great run here last year. Got a top 5 finish, finished 4th. Had a win a couple of years ago up in Nazareth. That effort at Nazareth may have been what precipitated a lot of folks to really take Tim Fedewa serious and give him a good shot at a good ride in Busch Series competition. There's single file up front, but it's getting a little crowded toward the back of the pack as you see Fidua now trying to hold the margin about a car length between him and Jeff Fuller. Here's Dennis Setzer in the Lance Chevrolet. Setzer about 182 late model stock car victories on the short tracks. This is for 19th position. Remember, Setzer made a pit stop back on lap 33, and that may have been a strategy move. They came in and pitted, thought that they might be able to make it the rest of the way on fuel.
Well, very possibly, Jerry. And, Dennis knows how to take care of those tires, so he might be out there just on cruise control right now trying to make sure he's got enough tire for the end of the race, knowing that he can make it on fuel the rest of the way.
Setzer's fourth time at Indianapolis Raceway Park has a top 5, 2 top 10s, and 1 DNF. Back behind him, Lyndon Amick in the car number 35. And boy, look at Amick, 38th to 19th.
There's Joe Knott in the 92 car trying to get by Lyndon Amick.
Joe Knott, 24 years of age, the Phoenix Sign Chevrolet. As you watch this battle, Setzer now beneath the 56 car. That is Jeff Grove, and they are side by side. That is for 17th position. Jeff Krogh in the 56 and Mark Krogh in the 80 are brothers. Hard to see Mark have a couple of problems up in turn 4. And Setzer now running side by side. Little sheet metal damage in the right front fender, that Lance Chevrolet. That was an incident early on, a spin up in turn 3. Reminds you a little bit of Richmond Raceway where they run side by side coming out of the corners.
Well, the banks here at IRP have the outside lane's got a little bit more banking to it, but of course it's the longer way around. Dennis Setzer working that low groove. It's a little flatter down there, a little shorter way around, but it's hard to get the car hooked up on the bottom. There you see just a little bit loose coming off, can't get the power to the racetrack. In the 56 car, he can just sit up there and ride in that outside lane, taking advantage of that banking.
Setzer and Krogh battling door to door here at lap 66 for 17th position. And now Setzer able to make the pass. Krogh slid just a little bit coming into turn 2. That gave Setzer the advantage to be able to get the car to the outside. And now Setzer pulls him by 2 car lengths. All around the racetrack, but one guy who has just set sail has been Randy LaJoie, the defending winner of this Kroger 200 and the defending 1996 NASCAR Busch Series champion.
Randy's running into some lap traffic now, and Mike McLaughlin has been able to slowly pick a little bit at that lead.
All right, while LaJoie leads, we'll ride along and show you the top 15 here after 68 of 200 laps. Back with more from IRP in a moment. Our speed road coverage of the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Kroger 200 from Indianapolis Raceway Park is being brought to you by the more than 1,625 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. By Team Monte Carlo, Chevy, the cars more champions trust. By Daytona USA, the ultimate motorsports attraction. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, LaJoie and McLaughlin, a couple of wily Busch Series veterans. That's the way they've been since they dropped the green flag. LaJoie leading McLaughlin by about 10 car lengths. There's the view from Magic Shoes windshield. We're talking about Mike Magic Shoes McLaughlin. That's his nickname back in the old modified days.
Absolutely. But you know, Randy LaJoie has really checked out on the field everyone but Mike McLaughlin. Mike has kept that gap right around 0.8 of a second now for the last 30 laps. And he has now opened up a tremendous gap back to third place Tim Fidua, where there's a great battle for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth.
That's the interval back to McLaughlin. As you mentioned, battles all around the racetrack. Third is Fidua, fourth, Jeff Fuller, fifth. is Jason Keller. There is Fido's Kleenex Chevrolet. Kleenex and Kroger on the quarter panel of that car. Sponsor of tonight's event here. There's the Hunter Specialty Chevy, Mike Laughlin-owned car, Jeff Fuller. You see the car number 6 behind Fuller. That is Joe Bessie. He's being shown a lap down in 33rd position because of a pit stop. Well, there is LaJoy just setting sail. Now, a year ago, LaJoy made one pit stop, changed 4 tires, topped it off in fuel, and never came on pit road again. So that's what he hoped to be able to do tonight, somewhere around the halfway point.
Well, as we can see, track position is everything, and with a good strategy in the pits means everything for that track position. And you know, I'm sure Randy's hoping that that'll happen, and a caution will fly just right for him.
There is Fedua back in 3rd position. Basically, the front of the field has stabilized. While they're stabilized single file, we'll bring you one of our special ESPN track facts. Track facts are brought to you by Quaker State, the quality your car deserves.
Well, this is the reason that Dick Trickle is now 11 laps down. This hole in the radiator, it's from debris from an earlier caution. Trickle wasn't in the crash, he was just in the neighborhood. Punctured the radiator, they had to bring the car in, swap out the radiator, and send it back out. Now, he's 11 laps down. Why would you go back out? Because you need to get points, because you might need a provisional based on owner points later in the season. How important are those provisionals and those points? Well, why don't we ask Brett Bodine? Brett, they're worth every one, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we had to use one today at the Brickyard to get in the show, but you know, when you race fans see a car going out there riding around with fenders tore off or whatever, they're trying to get all the points they can, because you never know when that might save you. Not necessarily for a championship, just to try to keep as high in the point standing as possible. Today I was the last provisional, the 4th provisional, and that's just due to the fact that our race team's been able to keep the car on the racetrack a lot of laps this year.
Well, there's a Duralube Chevrolet. He's talking about Dick Trickle, who's currently 14th in the point standings, although Trickle has just run 18 events of the 20 that have been competed. He missed Loudon, New Hampshire, and Myrtle Beach. So those are the 2 he was not able to make, but despite missing 2 events, he's still in the top 15 overall with the points.
That's tremendous track record for Dick in the Grand National Division. You know, his car's always very competitive, and that's really a testament to his race team. And here they are in an event at IRP, back out there after repairing the radiator.
And as Bill Weber told you, they are 11 laps down, now being shown back in 36th position. Only one car being officially shown as out of this event, car number 22, Scott Lagasse, involved in a little bit of a shunt early on at lap number 5, so he has called it a night.
Potential big-time problems for Todd Bodine. The car is skipping. It's a battery problem. Clyde McLeod, his crew chief, has said they may need to bring him in, change the battery and the alternator. Bodine losing positions lap after lap on the racetrack. His car skipping, slowing. The pit crew about to swing into action.
Well, and as we see Todd pulling down to the bottom of the racetrack, obviously it's down on power, and the battery's making the ignition be very weak, and the engine won't run up to par. And the leader is right now, as we speak, going by Todd to put him a lap down. We talked about the track position. Phil Parsons having to miss that spin up in the first turn. Now he found himself at the back of the pack. He's got the leader breathing right down his back.
And we got trouble up in turn 4. One car spins around, comes down across right in front of the group of cars, including our leader, LaJoy, just does get by, and he gets around Phil Parsons while getting by, and the caution flag comes out, and just that quickly, Phil Parsons goes a lap down. The car number 92 that spun out there, that's Joe Knott from Spring Lake, Minnesota, former ASA competitor. There's Joe Knott.
A lot of damage on the left side of the car. Looks like he lost the car getting down into 3, and it spun all the way around, slapped it with the left side. And like as you said, Jerry, he spun right in front of the field. And as some of the cars were checking up, the leader, Randy LaJoie, was able to find a gap and stand on the gas and put a couple extra cars a lap down because of that spin.
Well, Joe got his first ASA victory at the Pontiac Excitement 300 in Lancaster, New York a year ago, and decided to have his Busch debut tonight at IRP, but this one he will not forget.
As we see, he spun, made contact with the left side of the car up in turn 4, and there he is down in front of the field. Everyone trying to take evasive action to miss him.
Well, heavy damage on the Grand Haven, Michigan drivers. Chevy Monte Carlo brings out the caution flag for the 5th time tonight. We have 90 laps complete as Joe Knott brings his car to the attention of the crew.
This will play into Randy LaJoie's hand right here. Here's a caution flag nearly halfway into the race, and I'm sure he's going to come down pit road and put 4 tires on that Phoenix Chevrolet.
That's what Steve Birdie and Billy Nasowitz had said, and just exactly on cue. He must have been listening to you, Brad. Here comes Randy LaJoie as we are 10 laps away from the halfway point. He said he wanted to pit near halfway like he did a year ago when he won it here. At 35 miles an hour, he crawls down pit road. McLaughlin's behind him, Fedua. There's Jeff Fuller, Jason Keller, Steve Park, Matt Kenseth. Get the idea. Everyone up front decided, hey, we're going to follow the leader literally down pit road.
And now the race begins in the pits. Who can beat who off of pit road?
Well, let's go down to Bill Weber.
Very, very tight down here, but LaJoie has the first pit here on pit road. No one in front of him. Todd Bodine off the lead lap, so an open spot behind him, a big advantage. They swing around to the right side. They've got the right side tires on. Now they'll come around to the left side. Get enough fuel in there, shouldn't be a problem. This should be LaJoie's only stop. He's in Ellie Mae, the car that won here a year ago, the car that has given him a lot of his victories. The fuel is in, waiting on the left rear, and LaJoie's down and away.
I tell you, caution flag or not, that's a pretty doggone good pit stop by that FINA crew down there for Bill Bumgarner. There is LaJoie coming back out along the side of the safety trucks. And what a scramble down pit road. Kevin LePage and there's Krogh and Buckshot, some of the others 2 and 3 wide as LaJoie. Now there they come off of pit road. They were 3 wide in the pits a moment ago trying to come down pit road, and looks like LePage may have gotten the better of that drag strip battle down to turn 1.
Well, one of the big losers on that exchange was Mike McLaughlin. He came in second, and now he is about 6 cars behind Randy LaJoie. Track position means everything. Mike McLaughlin lost a bunch of it on that pit stop.
And there's a NASCAR official standing up there in their pits. We saw a moment ago that they might have a little problem there with that air wrench on the right side of the car, number 34, the Royal Oak car of Mike McLaughlin. So let's go down and check in with Bill Weber, who's in the Todd Bodine pits.
Well, Todd Bodine has brought his Stanley Pontiac to pit road. They're going to try and change the battery, the one that's been not charging, that's been skipping and giving Todd his power problem. The hood has gone up. Clyde McLeod checked briefly under there. The hood's staying up now. They're trying to swap out the battery, which is located there behind the driver in the left rear wheel well. They've got one out. They're going to slide in a new one and then try and send Todd back out. What they want to try and do is get him back out quickly so he doesn't lose any more laps out on the racetrack. Clyde McLeod lowers the hood, slips in the hood pins. A NASCAR official watching this very closely. They're trying to get that battery back in. The pace car is going to sneak around behind them up pit road, or up the front stretch rather, come across the start-finish line, and Todd's going to fall off the lead lap. He sits in his car very dejected. This is very disappointing. They thought they might have something for these guys tonight.
All right, Todd Bodine, Stanley Pontiac, and what a tough break for Todd. This point battle could go away in a hurry, but then again, last week, Todd Bodine was behind the wall getting repairs when suddenly Randy LaJoie had trouble. To St. Louis, it comes in pairs. We'll come back with more in a moment. Coming up Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern time on the Deuce, NHRA Northwest Nationals from Seattle International Raceway in Kent, Washington. This is the last stop of the Tour's annual 3-race Western Swing, marking the end of what many consider the toughest 3 weeks of the season. NHRA drag racing coming your way Sunday, 7 o'clock Eastern time on the Deuce. And a pretty famous dragway right here behind us, Indianapolis Raceway Park in the division of NHRA. And right here where the U.S. Nationals take place, right behind our broad. There it is. There's the drag strip. Talk about some exciting events there over the years. My, have they excited the fans here in Indianapolis year after year with the U.S. Nationals. And there's where we are in our broadcast booth, overlooking the front straightaway, as we are just 5 laps away from the halfway point here in this 16th annual Kroger 200.
Got a little problem here at the front of the field. The boys aren't sure exactly where they're supposed to be lined up, and guys are cutting each other off and rubbing on each other, trying to get in position for this restart.
Well, people just trying to take it in their own hands and get into position. NASCAR won't have any of that. I'm sure they'll have a little discussion with some of these guys. They've called off the restart here. And Ray Hill, the Busch Grand National Series director, having a little talk with some of his inspectors on pit road. And meanwhile, they are talking with some crew chiefs, trying to get some of this sorted out. And now people are falling in line 2 by 2 as Carl Simmons will say, okay, let's try it again. Next time, let's wave the green flag, as we'll be about 4 laps away from the halfway point. Just joined us. We've had 5 caution flags tonight in the first 90 laps. First one coming out on lap 5 involving Scott Legacy and Larry Pearson. A little bump which ended Legacy's night up the backstretch. Second one, lap 27. Mark Krogh spun in turn 4. Then an incident involving Tony Stewart, Steve Park, Ernie Sadler. Lap 32, that was in turn 3. Lap 45, Stevie Reeves spun in turn 1, had a cut tire. And this one right here, Joe Knott spun up in turn 4 on lap number 90, bringing out caution number 5 as we are just about 3 laps away from the halfway point. Get set for a green flag restart.
Cool heads must prevail in a situation like this, and a little banging going on the restart over there.
On time in Indianapolis Raceway Park. And folks, we're not even halfway through for the night. That was lap 97 right there. Phil Parsons now being shown on the tail end of the lead lap in the Channel Lock Chevrolet. He's back in 29th spot. He needs to try to stay there and possibly hope for another caution flag so he can get that lap back.
Yeah, our leader of the race right now is Wayne Grubb in the 83 car. They got out of sync on pit stops. They pitted a little early, elected not to take advantage of that caution flag at lap 90 and coming in fresh tires. He is being shown the leader, giving Phil Parsons a chance to get back on the lead lap.
There's Elliott Sadler, who's won 2 in a row, currently in 4th position after starting way back in 19th spot. He is mired back in heavy traffic. Right behind the car number 48 is Sadler, Randy Porter's machine, the Uniforms Ford. Look back behind Sadler out the rear bumper cam. That's the Lux Air machine. Last year's Rookie of the Year in Busch Series competition, Glenn Allen Jr. And just to his inside, there's the man who was the pole sitter and has dominated this race through the first 90-some laps, Randy LaJoie.
Randy drove right in underneath Glenn Allen going into turn 3, made it look awfully easy. Of course, he's got those fresh tires on right now.
Sadler now trying to move in and take the position away. That would be 4th spot. Sadler is 4th, LaJoie is 5th.
Brother Todd had a stop and go penalty. It looked like he might have jumped the restart. He's being shown, he was 3 laps down, now he's being shown 4 laps down.
As the problem continued to climb and continue to build for Todd Bodine, the guy he's trying to chase in the point standings is having a pretty good night thus far. Talking about Randy LaJoie, who's currently being shown in 5th position. Our leader, the car number 83, that is Wayne Grubb out of Mechanicsville, Virginia, the Link Belt Construction Equipment Chevrolet.
There's Sadler trying to get underneath Randy Porter, and Randy LaJoie doing the same to him. And again, Sadler hitting a little out of sync, and that's how he got it back up at the head of the field. Looking back at Jeff Fuller. And it looks like Randy LaJoie and Elliott are still battling hard.
Our AutoZone race recap, our leader, Wayne Grubb, he has led 12 of 103 laps. There have been 1 lead change, 5 cautions for a total of 34 laps. Average speed is way down to 67.102 miles an hour. Our leaders, only 2 of them to pick from. LaJoie led 91, and currently Wayne Grubb has led the last 12. Out of race, those that have parked it behind the wall, only 1 of the 39 who started tonight. That's Scott Lagacy, involved in an incident back on lap number 5 with a little contact with Larry Pearson. What that flag means, Brett, is?
They're pulling the scorecard. And that means you can go out there and run all you want to, but you're not getting scored on the racetrack. So as appropriate, come down pit lane, see what the problem is.
Yeah, the black flag means we need to talk to you. You need to have them come on pit road for a stop and go or whatever. That's a consultation flag. The black one with the white cross means you're just having fun. You're not getting paid for the rest of the night.
That's exactly right. Now we see Randy LaJoie and Jeff Fuller and Tim Feedwell finally got underneath Randy Porter and trying to get caught back up and head to the front of the field. Here comes the 3 car.
That's Steve Park. That's for position. There's Park, the 3 car. Porter behind him, then Glenn Allen. And still being shown as our leader is Wayne Grubb from Mechanicsville, Virginia. The first career time this young man has led a Busch Grand National Series event.
And I'll tell you, he has stretched it out. He is pulling away from the second place car.
And Phil Parsons trying to hang on right in front of him, hoping for a caution flag. We'll come back with more live green flag action from Indianapolis Raceway Park in a moment. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, caution for the 6th time tonight. We're just getting ready to tell you, coming back from commercial, what a great job Rick Fuller was doing in the Doug Taylor Motorsports car number 40. He started back in 25th spot and was running 2nd. And we turned to say something about Fuller, and suddenly, boom, he's in the wall.
Well, it looked like possibly a tire cut down going into the first turn. He was running a great line and went down into the corner. And as you can see right there, the sparks flew, and he had no way to get the car stopped in time, get it turned in time, and miss the wall. And very unfortunate. He was having a great run.
Of course, you NASCAR Featherhead Modified fans know Rick Fuller driving for Art Berry up there very successfully, former series champion. And ouch, he hit it pretty hard. As apparently, as you said, Brett, a tire going down on the right front of that KFC Ford.
But as we see in so many times in racing, someone's misfortune was somebody else's fortune.
Exactly.
Phil Parsons was running out ahead of the leader, Wayne Grubb. Phil was able to hold him off, come into the yellow flag, and get his lap back.
All right, there's the Doug Taylor Motorsports team trying to use a pry bar to pick that car up. It's so much right front damage. They're trying to see if they can possibly have any shot at putting a tire on it. As we go down to Bill Weber and check in with Phil Parsons.
Well, Phil Parsons has had so much bad luck this year, he was due for a little good luck. He got the caution he needed to get back on the lead lap. Now he's going to get him some tires. They've got the right sides on. They pull the sheet metal away. That's all he wants. Fuel's in. Phil Parsons returns to the race, back of the field, but he's got fresh rubber on the right side. Tom Bodine is due to come back in. He got a black flag for doubling up on the wrong side. Jason Keller was also on pit road.
All right, Phil Parsons hung on out there long enough in front of Wayne Grubb, who was our leader. There's the car number 83 being shown as our leader, Wayne Grubb. Only his 3rd start in 1997. His best finish, a 25th at South Boston, Virginia, but he is leading tonight here at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Certainly has to be one of the highlights of his young career in Busch Series competition, and that's a little bit on the hot side, I would say. A little bit of fire there underneath the right front of the car.
Well, it looks like when he hit the wall, he's damaged the hub in some way, and it's leaking some wheel bearing grease out onto the hot rotors and causing it to catch on fire, or possibly some brake fluid from the caliper being busted when he made contact with the wall.
Firemen standing by us along with the NASCAR officials, and a tough break for Rick Fuller, who's trying to win that NASCAR Featherhead Modified Tour Championship, driving for Art Berry. We mentioned having a tough time, though, battling Mike Stefanik and a few others up there.
Well, I'll tell you, that Modified Tour is very competitive, and, we saw a great race with them up in Loudon, New Hampshire, when we were there with the Winston Cup cars and at Martinsville. I really missed that series, Jerry. That was a lot of fun running those cars.
So many talented drivers have come out of the open wheel ranks. Of course, Jeff Bodine was one of the first, and now we've got a series of Bodines who've made their way south, and thankfully so, in the Winston Cup. Now Todd, the latest. If you didn't hear, Todd Bodine made an announcement early today. He's going Winston Cup racing next year, and Tabasco will be on the side of his Pontiac. Back with more from IRP in just a moment. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, Wayne Grubb being shown as our leader. Jerry Punch along with Brett Bodine, Bill Weber, and Dave Despain covering the NASCAR Busch Series action. Let's check in the pits with Double D. Dave, what do you have for us?
Well, the question that everybody's going to be answering or asking here real quick, the answer is yes, he can make it on fuel. Wayne Grubbs was among those who stopped on those earlier yellows, and they got the car topped off. He can make it from here, and so they're in very good shape. It was the short pit strategy we talked about at the top of the show. If Grubb wins the race, that'll be the key to it. The issue there is going to be tire wear, and these tires have worn very well. Through practice, they were running 45, 50 lap runs and seeing about a half second of drop off. So he should be in very good shape, but of course a lot can happen between here and the end.
And the bad news for Wayne Grubb, Dave, as he looked in his rearview mirror, there is LaJoie now right in on his rear bumper. Randy LaJoie, who was our pole sitter and led the bulk of the first 95 laps of this. And of course, there's a part of this capacity crowd. We're told that they were expecting upwards of 35,000 people, a new record for Indianapolis Raceway Park. An exciting Kroger 200 action as they are side by side coming down for a restart. 118 laps are complete of 200. $310,000 up for grabs tonight here for NASCAR Busch Grand National Series action.
Wayne Grubb hard on the gas coming off of turn 4, trying to get a jump on Dick Trickle in the outside lane there. As we see, Trickle's able to hold that outside line, pinning Grubb to the bottom of the racetrack. LaJoie's going to try to follow him right through.
Now watch LaJoie go up high. He knows the fast way is around the outside, and now he has gotten Grubb fairly easily in turn 3.
There's experience for you. Randy LaJoie came out of the pits, 5th or 6th spot, took his time, worked his way right back up to the front. Of course, he's got an awfully good race car to do it with, too.
Now, he won't be able to snooker Dick Trickle quite so easily. Trickle's going to keep that high groove. LaJoie's got enough race car maybe to make a run on the inside.
Randy's really dove down into turn 3, but he can't quite hold that inside lane. Trickle able to work the outside lanes very, very well.
Battle was brewing back for second position. Elliott Sadler was trying to make a move on Wayne Grubb. There's Grubb in second spot. Sadler behind him in the car number 29 in third. Sadler had a fender inside him last time coming off turn 4, but this time Grubb able to pull him by half a car length.
Well, I think Randy taught Wayne a little something about that outside lane. Protect it. That's the key to getting around Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Now Sadler looks to the inside, but can't quite get it to hang off the corner. Ball's back in line. He's got to defend his position because right behind him, or not to the inside of him now, is Jeff Fuller.
Heck of a battle from third on back.
83 car in second position. That is Grubb. Then Sadler is third. Then Jeff Fuller is fourth. Tim Feto a fifth. Steve Park is sixth. Elton Sawyer seventh. Porter eighth. Kenseth ninth. And McLaughlin is in 10th position. It's your top 10. There are 26 cars on the lead lap at 123 laps in.
I think Randy's just going to sit here behind Dick Trickle and just take care of his tires. Oh, as I say that, he's going to drive right by him on the inside.
He heard you. I'll show Brett Bodine. I'm not going to sit here and wait. No, I think Trickle had a little bit of a slip, so Randy got a shot underneath him. Dick Trickle in the 64 car is 10 laps down if you're following the Euroloop machine. Back in 36th. Actually, he's 11 laps down now with that pass by LaJoie. Back in 36th position.
We'll see if Dick Trickle's going to let this other pack go by because they're racing for position. Dick's a lot of laps down, and see what happens here at the front of the field. These guys have kind of separated themselves from the rest of the field.
Take a look at Steve Park, who didn't qualify real well. As you look out of the Barbasol in-car camera, the Aiken Sutton Motorsports machine of Elton Sawyer. Sawyer twice has finished second here at IRP. Always runs well on this 5/8 mile facility. He's being shown back in the 7th position, looking up at the 6th place car of Steve Park in front of him. I started to say a moment ago, none of these cars in the top 10 are able to make a run and make a pass.
Oh, left rear flat on Dennis Setzer's car in the Lance Chevrolet.
Tough break for Setzer. He was being shown in about 16th position on the lead lap, and now he tries to get that car down on the inside. He does get it on the pit road, but obviously he will lose at least one lap as he comes down pit road at 35 miles an hour. There's the Lance crew going to work on Setzer's Lance Snack Chevy. Setzer had pitted on lap 33 for 2 right side tires and fuel, and obviously they must have worn that rubber off or possibly ran over something and cut a tire down. And Mike McLaughlin hits hard here in the front stretch. McLaughlin gets completely sideways, comes across the racetrack, takes part of the signage off the inside concrete wall, and he slid broadside about 115 miles an hour and just tagged that Royal Oak charcoal Chevrolet just past the start-finish line.
There we are inside with Mike. We see him moving around. There was a little bit of a fire underneath the back of that car, and they're trying to get Mike out of there in a hurry.
Now the FINA crew there for LaJoy have come across the pit road. Also the safety crews from here at Indianapolis Raceway Park there to try to get extinguish any kind of flames. And McLaughlin, he may have to have a fire extinguisher put on him a little bit. He got out of the car, but fortunately seems to be okay. He was being shown back in 10th position. What I started to say a moment ago is none of the guys in the top 10 have been able to make a move. McLaughlin 3 or 4 times in a row was trying to make a move to get in the 9th spot and couldn't get the car to stick coming off turn 4.
We spoke earlier. They had a bad pit stop. Something was wrong on the pit stop and cost them a lot of track position. Mike was running very well in 2nd spot up until then, and got back in the pack, and now he's found himself knocked out of the race.
You know, he had made such a march in the point standings the past month. McLaughlin 4 top 10s in the last 5 races. He had come all the way from 10th in the points, currently being shown 5th entering tonight's event, just 54 points behind Steve Park in 4th place, but obviously he will probably get a DNF here tonight, as we can now possibly try to show you again what happened to Mike out of turn 4.
Well, it looked like he was in the high lane and might have just lost the car a little bit or drifted down in front of Robert Presley, and when it did, it turned him around in a hurry.
Okay, Stevie Reeves is right around this area too. Look out the back of Stevie's car, see if we can see what happened out the back of the Big A Auto Parts bumper cam.
I think Mike was trying to make a move on Stevie Reeves, pass him down on the inside, and didn't realize Robert Presley was inside of him. And when he turned left to make a move under Reeves, it run across the front end of Robert Presley's car.
All right, caution flag number 7. Count them up, 7 thus far here at lap 131. So we'll come back with more from IRP in a moment. Sunday night baseball's game of the week coming your way from Wrigley Field in Chicago. It's the Dodgers and the Cubbies. Dodgers led by Mike Piazza. Mark Grace counters for the Cubbies. Boy, the Dodgers have been red hot, scoring runs in bunches since the All-Star break. That's coming up Sunday night baseball, 8 o'clock Eastern time on ESPN. Great crowd on hand tonight here at Indianapolis Raceway Park in Clermont, Indiana. 16th edition of the Kroger 200. The longest continuous sponsorship in the NASCAR Busch Series, right here by the folks at Kroger, sponsoring this Busch Series event dating all the way back to 1982. There's our field summary. LaJoy, our leader. You see there are 24 cars now being shown on the lead lap. Lyndon Amick, the last car on the lead lap, back in 24th position. And Dennis Setzer did lose 1 lap by virtue of that cut rear tire a moment ago. He's running in 15th spot now, being shown back in 28th. let's check in the pits with Dave Despain.
Robert Presley was really on the move in the 47 car, the Sunoco Chevrolet, when he got involved in that incident with McLaughlin. The pits have been closed for a good while, but he's not been able to come in, and you may have seen the smoke off that car. It's from the right front tire, sheet metal rubbing. The Sunoco crew standing by here, and as quick as they get the opportunity, they're going to get that car in here before that tire is cut. He's on his way in right now.
All right, thanks, Double D. Ted Geschecter on machine, the Sunoco colors. Robert Presley, former winner in Busch Series competition. Getting that ride about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, when Jeff Fuller and Geschecter split ways, parted ways. Fuller going over to Mike Laughlin's car, number 45. Robert Presley hired to drive that machine. And as Dave Despain told you, they're trying to pull some of that sheet metal away. That's been rubbing that right front tire. That was the contact point where Presley and Mike McLaughlin came together. McLaughlin's car ended up spinning, bringing out caution flag number 7. As we work just past the lap 135 of 200 tonight. LaJoie is our leader. You see the Sunoco car still sitting on pit road there as the work continues. Wayne Grubb is in second spot. Elliott Sadler third. Jeff Fuller fourth. Tim Fedewa is fifth. All right, let's show you again what happened to produce this damage on the front of Robert Presley's car. Let's take a listen.
Riding with Mike McLaughlin going up the back straightaway. He's behind Matt Kenseth. We see, they made contact, and Mike got a run on the 96 car, and the next thing you knew, the 47 was inside of him. He didn't realize he was down on the inside.
Boy, that was a hard lick by Mike McLaughlin as Mike watched it on the replay screen. Let's go down and talk to him. Bill?
Well, they got a chance to see it twice. He didn't want to see it once. What happened?
So I don't know. So they just started checking up. I wanted to go to the bottom, and just got tagged from behind. Tight racing. It was a short day for the Royal Oak Chevrolet.
You got a lot of friends down here. Some guys got out there to help you get out.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we're all competitive, but we're all one big family here. When something like that happens, there's a lot of people that'd be there to help.
Okay, you're okay?
I'm fine.
All right, that's Mike McLaughlin. He's done for tonight. Back in 2 weeks in Michigan.
All right, McLaughlin, 2 consecutive third-place finishes here. A second-place finish a year ago. It'll all come up for short tonight as that car heavily damaged, and there he is on pit road. There is the Kroger Vision. That is the new screen they have here in the infield for the people to be able to watch the race. They can watch the replays and the interviews during the caution flags. Great idea here at IRP. Back in a moment. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, 138 laps are complete in this 16th annual NASCAR Kroger 200. Stop number 21 of 30 of the $10 million Busch Grand National Tour for 1997. LaJoie, the 74 car, is our leader. Wayne Grubb, great run for Grubb in the 83 car out of Mechanicsville, Virginia. There's a good look at the front end of Grubb's car, out the back end of LaJoie's machine. And we got a little nudge from Grubb last time on the restart. As they get ready to come at it again, and Grubb didn't want to be too far back. Last time we got a little Monte Carlo against Monte Carlo coming on a turn 4. Now Grubb does lay off, and LaJoie jumps in the throttle.
There's Jeff Fuller down on the inside of Elliott Sadler coming off of 2. He's in a hurry trying to get that third spot.
Fuller thinks back better of it, and now he has to protect his position because right behind him, behind the car number 45, is the 33 of Fedewa.
Trouble off of turn 4. Several cars, big crash right here at the start-finish line.
5 cars involved as the caution waves again. The 82 cars involved. That is Kevin Grubb, the 63.
Tracy Leslie, 48 of Randy Porter, 1 of Hermie Sadler, 44 of Tony Stewart.
85 of Shane Hall, and you mentioned the 1 of Hermie Sadler. The 82 of Grubb has come to rest up right at the start-finish line. Heavy contact and severe damage here on the restart at lap number 140. Look again. Let's see if we can see what happened as they came to the restart for the green flag coming out of turn 4.
3 wide coming out of turn 4, and there just wasn't enough room. Stevie Reeves squeezed the 6 of Joe Bessie up in the wall, and then with Joe Bessie checking up, everybody piled in.
Stevie Reeves up there, and Joe Bessie, those cars looking once again as the leaders come down. LaJoie to take the green flag. Now watch right side of your screen, top. Boom, there's Bessie, Reeves involved. Here's Grubb coming across. Hermie Sadler, Porter, they get together.
Shane Hall got right up on the 2 wheels and then hit Hermie Sadler in the driver's door.
Again, from a low angle shot coming at the start finish line, there is Reeves and Bessie, and then it all breaks loose behind them.
Here we are inside of Tony Stewart's car. He sees the accident happening. He's trying to find a spot to avoid it, and then the door closes on him. He's got nowhere to go and can't get stopped.
Well, ouch. If you're keeping score at home, folks, that's what's left of the Shell Pontiac of Tony Stewart. He was involved. Reeves, Bessie, Shane Hall, Hermie Sadler. The car number 82 of Kevin Grubb. And there's Kevin Grubb walking back across as we check down with Bill Weber.
Shane Hall, you're okay?
Yeah, we're fine. You know, I wish this Lux car was a little better than we were, but you know, just got some cars got crossed up front, I think, with the lap traffic, and there's nowhere to go. You know, thought we were going to get us the top 10 out of this deal. Kind of just stayed around and stayed out of trouble, and just it didn't happen.
Trouble finds you here, doesn't it?
It does, I'll tell you.
Okay, able to smile, but his evening is over in disappointing fashion.
Shane Hall, 23rd in the points coming in tonight. And there's a young man from Virginia that's not real happy. His car involved. He was sort of an innocent victim, talking about Kevin Grubb out of Mechanicsville, Virginia, the Genuine Link Belt Parts Chevrolet. And there's heavy damage work trying to be done on Tony Stewart's car. Not been a good Kroger Speed Fest for Stewart. Here's Glenn Allen in the car number 99. He was involved peripherally in that incident. He got some sheet metal damage on the left front and the right side door. There is the Joe Bessie car, as he and Stevie Reeves look to be the 2 cars that really initiated for this incident.
Absolutely. There were 3 wide coming off of turn 4, and Stevie Reeves just slid up a little bit, squeezed the 6 car of Joe Bessie in the wall, causing everybody to check up coming off of turn 4. But at that point in the racetrack, everybody's wide open in the throttle, and just wasn't enough room for all those cars to get through there.
All right, here's the 00 car. That's appropriately Buckshot Jones, started 35th and 142 laps. He is in 12th position. He made a pit stop under the second caution flag of the day back on lap 27, so aqua fresh. I thought maybe he had gotten unscathed, but no, we saw this side of the car, and he's been beaten and battered like everybody else. That still looks pretty good.
It still looks pretty good for starting all the way back into 35th.
And remember, next year he's got Bayer Aspirin and Alka-Seltzer, and this guy, he has been...
Tracy Leslie, he's missing some parts, got some parts all bent up, but the car's still going around the racetrack.
I think Hubert and Jeff Hensley can throw that body away after the night. That's not much left of that Pontiac. So we check in with Bill Weber once again.
With Hermie Sadler, well, you told me you're okay, but boy, your luck continues to go south on you.
Some minute, we had a pretty good running going at the first part of the race, and we got involved in a wreck early on, and must have been some in the rear, broke some in the rear. The car had a bad vibration, so we spent the rest of the race trying to adjust it. We saved our last set of tires for that last caution and put new tires on to go ahead and try and get our lap back, because we finally had the car back running pretty good. We could run fairly close to the leaders, and we got hung up coming off 4. I don't know exactly what happened. I guess they got 3 wide somewhere in front of us and started stacking up, but you know, what can you do? You know, we had a plan, and everything went according to plan until right then. So we'll regroup and try to get to Michigan and still salvage a good season. DeWalt Peoples have all been good to us, and we're going to run them a race 40 years old.
Okay, we'll see you there.
Thank you.
All right,
Tony Stewart.
Hermie Sadler
Tony Stewart.
out of the race. Much more action to come from IRP after we take a timeout.
Speed Road coverage of the NASCAR Busch Grand National Series Kroger 200 from Indianapolis Raceway Park has been brought to you by Shell, moving at the speed of life. By Big A Auto Parts, America's Parts Pros. And by Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, a lot of fans having a great time tonight. What a carnival atmosphere. You turn in here and you see the lights and all the grandstands packed, and you smell those tenderloins cooking out there. I know you had a big sausage dog when you came in a moment ago, or earlier today, I should say. But boy, what a wonderful atmosphere for racing, whether it's drag racing or stock cars. What a great week for Kroger Speed Fest. We had the Silver Crown cars Wednesday night, the Craftsman trucks last night, and tonight NASCAR Busch Series event, and a great crowd of about 35,000 folks on hand. Well, the Busch Series points, if the race were to end right now, LaJoie would pull ahead considerably over Todd Bodine. There's Phil Parsons, Steve Park. They grew to the top 10. That's how they would be right now if the race were to end where they are currently running here at 147 laps. Well, let's go down to Dave Despain.
Been a great Kroger Speed Fest, but not for Tony Stewart, because his two efforts in the Kroger Speed Fest have both ended in exactly the same spot. This is where I talked to you Wednesday night after you got crashed out of the Silver Crown race. Now you're all beat up again. Talk about it. What happened?
I just didn't pick the right hole. My spotter told me plenty early to get out of it, and I was out of it on the brakes, but not as hard as everybody else, and thought I found a hole that might be good, and it closed up in a hurry and just got caught up in it again. I'm not real good at picking holes off of 4 this week, it seems like.
Yeah, I think we got your crashes confused. While you were talking about the stock car crash, we saw your open wheel crash. Obviously, this is a frustrating debut with the Gibbs team, but I see them still over here working on the thing, and you stayed in the cockpit a long time. You going to try to get back out there?
Well, if it was safe, but we knocked the brake line off, and we've had some pumps fall off, so, there's a chance we could lose the motor going back out, and we're not sure if we can get the brakes fixed. But, I can't thank Joe Gibbs and Shell and Pontiac and everybody on, Bobby Labonte's crew for all their help this weekend, and they gave me a great race car. I got to learn the race car all over again.
A very frustrating couple of days. What about the emotion you're feeling right now?
Well, I'm really happy, in all honesty. I knew this place was going to be pretty rough and that there's a lot of crashes here and you can get gathered up real easy. But, we qualified at 8th or 7th, and really we went clear back to the back and got back up to 13th, so we were working pretty decent. We just, I need laps right now, and the big thing we wanted to do was just finish the race tonight and gain knowledge and gain laps, and, we got about 2/3 of it, so we'll just go to the next race and try to gain more.
It's called looking at the bright spot. That's Tony Stewart. He's done for tonight.
All right, we'll give you the rundown again of those involved in this latest incident. It'd be easier to take who wasn't involved in this accident. 8 cars or 9 cars. We're talking about Bessie, Reeves, Kevin Grubb, Sadler, Leslie, Stewart, Shane Hall, and Glenn Allen Jr. Those are the ones that we have involved in the incident here, bringing out caution number 8 of the night.
Randy LaJoie, this is Brett Bodine and Jerry Punch up in the booth. Well, it doesn't look like we're doing as well as you. Old Ellie Mae's really hooked up for you tonight. You've been very fortunate. You haven't seen all these accidents behind you. You've been up front where track position's the key. And how's the car running?
It's pretty awesome. Anytime you got a race car like Base Motorsports give me this mean in Monte Carlo, you got to take advantage of it. And right now we're trying to do that. We've got another 50 to go here.
Well, good luck to you the rest of the race, and keep it up front.
All right, Randy LaJoie in the Fina Chevrolet. You saw that graphic a moment ago. And take a look at Jeff Krogh. Started 37th. He is currently in the top 10 at 9th in the car number 56. Boy, look at his progression. Back in 37th, 20th at lap 109, 16th at 129, and now 9th as we approach the lap 150 mark. Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Yeah, Jerry, just one final thought on Hermie Sadler. He really wanted a good run tonight, not only to turn his luck around, but there are some reports that he may be selling that team, and perhaps Team 34, which is Todd Bodine and Mike McLaughlin and company, could be expanding, adding that fleet to their team. Green flags out.
All right, restart lap 152. That caution number 8 out for 10 laps. As that's Dennis Setzer right on the rear of LaJoie. Setzer is being shown not on the lead lap, but 1 lap down in 21st position. LaJoie, the 74 car, is the leader, the second place car. will be the car number 83. That is Grubb, Wayne Grubb. The 29 car, there's Elliott Sadler in third. Jeff Fuller, the 45, is in fourth. And now Sadler looks to the inside of Grubb.
He's really working over Wayne Grubb, trying to get up underneath him. Trouble down in turn 1 and 2.
Well, a couple of cars spinning around. Looks like make that 3 cars. Lyndon Amick is involved.
Joe Knott.
And Glenn Allen Jr. There's the car number 92 of Joe Knott.
Looks like he got the worst of it. He's parked up against the outside wall and between turns 1 and 2.
Grand Haven, Michigan driver, 24 years of age, his Busch Series debut. And that will bring out caution number 9. There's Lyndon Amick, who had made a pretty good run from the back of the pack up into the mid-teens. Car number 35, the defending Goodies Series Dash champion. A rookie in Busch Grand National competition for 1997. He's going to pull around and up alongside Glenn Allen. If we might be able to see what happened here. We caught the tail end of this incident. There's Amick's car already spinning. Knott's in the wall. One car moving away.
That was the 63 of Tracy Leslie. He was involved in that also. Of course, it's hard to tell if he was involved. There's so much damage on his car already.
Probably Tracy figuring he was the only 2 cars that had not hit him yet tonight, so he thought he would make it a complete sweep. So there is the car number 92. The young man from the ASA ranks, Joe Knott, got his first ASA victory a year ago, and there's some of the Hensley crew working on the Tracy Leslie car. And Dave, they're doing some pretty serious work down there in front of you.
The whole thing that Joe Knott wanted to accomplish with his 92 car tonight was figure out a way to get some names on all that white paint. They came here with absolutely no sponsor. This is the car that Larry Pearson drove last year. Knott knew a couple of guys on the crew, started talking to him, got the opportunity to get into the car. It's the same car that Sterling Marlin ran in a couple of Busch races earlier this year, Daytona and Charlotte. He said, we want to get in the car, get on the racetrack, get the opportunity to meet some people in this division and try to make the jump over from ASA. He has climbed out of the car now, but bottom line, I don't think there's enough white space left there that isn't wrinkled on that car to put a sponsor name on.
Boy, you talk about paint. I mean, there have been some scrapes. Take a look at the wall. They've taken the paint off the wall here. Some of the impact here on the front stretch. Some of the signs are missing. They did such a nice job here to have this place so neat, clean, all the beautiful signage painted around the racetrack, and they're just knocking the signs off the concrete tonight.
You talk about knocking the wall down. Well, that's what's going on here tonight.
There's Tracy Leslie on pit road, and yes, folks, Tracy, a former winner at IRP. He won here back in 1993. Beat David Green, Terry Labonte, Ward Burton, and Tim Fedewa in a dash to the finish. Back in a moment. Well, Hermie Sadler's not going to call it a night. We hope you don't either, because he's going to come back on this racetrack with what's left of his DeWalt Tool Chevy. You heard some of the speculation Bill Weber talking about earlier that maybe he might be selling that team. I understand Team 34 may have some big announcements coming up about who will be their driver next year. So, folks, that is not the new Taurus. No, that is not. They've debuted some brand new cars in Indianapolis, and that is a mangled machine. But that's pretty much what we see up here, because it gets exciting. And Brett, from your memory of running here 2 or 3 years, these last 35 laps are usually the wildest part of the race.
I can't imagine it being any wilder than it already has been, but you're right, Jerry. You know, it's showtime now. You know, it's time to go to the front, do everything you can, get all you can, and these guys are getting a little anxious here on these restarts. Maybe we can get 4 or 5 laps in, let it get singled out and go racing.
I cannot believe it's going to get any wilder or woollier than what we've seen in the first 157 laps. We have 9 caution flags. There are 20 cars on the lead lap, and Tracy Leslie, folks, what's left of that Lysol Pontiac, got to give that crew a call. They are still on the lead lap, even though he has played cue ball tonight, been hit by everybody on the racetrack except the pace car, and the night's not over yet. There's Dennis Setzer showing 1 lap down in 21st position, right behind Randy LaJoie. He'll try to get his lap back on the restart, and Carl Simmons says we're going to restart him next time by. LaJoy, our leader. What about the run by the car number 83, Wayne Grubb? Rossburg, Ohio, we're talking about Thunder next Wednesday night on ESPN2. USAC Sprint Car Series coming your way live at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, folks. High banks, and it's dirt. Two of the things I love the most.
I'll tell you, Eldora is absolutely one of the most exciting racetracks to watch a sprint car race on. Can't wait for Wednesday night.
I can't. We'll be tuned in watching Thunder on Wednesday night on ESPN2. Well, folks, don't go away. Get all warm and fuzzy. These last 40 couple laps should be worth the wait. Indianapolis Raceway Park, 16th edition of the Kroger 200. LaJoy has been essentially unscathed tonight. He's been our pole sitter. He's dominated the event. But anything can happen, as we saw a year ago in the last 40 laps. Green flag.
Looking already in the back, 3 wide going down in the first turn.
Setzer jumps to the outside of LaJoy and will try to get his lap back. Setzer has an advantage off of turn 2 and goes by LaJoy. For the first time we'll see any car be able to pass LaJoy tonight.
I'll tell you, Dennis got a heck of a run coming off of turn 2, and he's going to do everything he can to hold Randy LaJoy off.
You also got to believe Randy is smart enough to know he didn't want to fight him. And once again, trouble in turn 2. This time it's Steve Park that goes around. No caution flag. Cars jumble up behind him. Everyone gets righted.
No caution.
And still no caution. So they all get going again. So a lot of position shuffling back in the pack. 39 laps remain in the Kroger 200. Here again's what happened.
Looked like someone made the 83 made contact, and people checking up. Steve Park checked up. The guys behind him turned him around.
And what a nice job by Steve Park. Got the car looped around, got it back in gear, and headed in the right direction. There's Tim Feeder with car number 33. He just bounced off Robert Presley in turn 1. There's the 83 car of Grubb as he battled the 38. Of Elton Sawyer. That is for position. That's for 5th spot.
That incident jockeyed things up a little bit. Randy LaJoy, your leader. Elliott Sadler's in 2nd. Tim Fedewa's 3rd. Jeff Fuller's 4th. And Grubb dropped all the way back to 5th after making contact up there in turns 1 and 2.
Now, Wayne Grubb is 5th. Elton Sawyer 6th. Matt Kenza 7th. Good run for the car number 56 in 8th spot. That is Jeff Krogh. Dale Shaw is 9th. 72 of Mike Dillon is being shown in 10th position.
Now Alton Sawyer has gotten by the 83 car. He's working all over the back of Robert Presley.
Presley's car number 47 is being shown and lapped down in 22nd position. Standing by, Linda Cohen and Steve Levy for Sports Center. That's coming up next. Well, they showing all the action around the world in sports. At the conclusion of our Kroger 200.
That's Matt Kenson in the 17, working the 83. That's for 6th and 7th.
Car number 56 trying to make a move. He is in 8th position, and the 47 car, Robert Presley, is a lap down in 22nd spot.
Randy LaJoy now trying to work back by Dennis Setzer, put him back a lap down.
Setzer having done that, holding on. Here is the car number 4. That is Dale Shaw. Shaw back in 9th spot. He tries to work underneath the lap car of Presley. There comes Mike Dillon. The Detroit Gasket Chevrolet for Dillon and Buckshot Jones, the 00. They are in 9th, 10th, and 11th spot.
There's Steve Park after he recovered from the spin. He's all the way back up to 13th.
There's a car number 10. That's a channel lock machine of Phil Parsons back in 14th spot. Boy, he got that lap back earlier in the has come from 22nd, and there's what's left a moment ago. What's left of the 63 car.
And he's in 15th spot and moving up. That's just unbelievable. They're able to keep that 63 car as competitive as it is.
There's second, third, and fourth. The 33 in third spot. Remember, Feedon finished fourth a year ago. 25 car Jeff Fuller back in the fourth position. Feedon was on a bad golfer, came in early and played in the Kroger golf tournament on Monday. He rode around with the president, Don Becker, and had a good time playing golf. He said, if you're as good a race car driver as you are a golfer, then I gotta think you're gonna have a shot come Saturday night or Friday night.
That battle right there is for third and fourth.
Jeff Fuller driving the Hunter Specialties car number 45. Former NASCAR Featherlight Modified Series champion. Former Rookie of the Year here in the Busch Series. Former the 1995 Rookie of the Year. He's in fourth position. There is the lead car, LaJoy.
Still not able to get around Dennis Setzer. Setzer praying for a caution flag.
Now, a few minutes ago, we told you one car was still in the lead lap. That car on the left side of your screen, folks, that is car number 63 of Tracy Leslie. And unbelievably, he is in the top 15. Didn't worry too much about the aerodynamics, right, Brett?
No, aerodynamics are not the issue here. But evidently, he's got a good handling race car there where he would be able to be as competitive as he is.
I think it'd be easy to say if they picked a couple of cars to go to the wind tunnel, that wouldn't be one of them they'd take. Tracy Leslie, Jeff, and Hubert Hensley, the car owners of that Lysol Pontiac. As we are in the closing laps here at Indianapolis Raceway Park Sports Center, standing by Linda Cohen and Steve Levy coming up next when we wave the checkered flag. Back in a moment. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, Brett Bodine, along with yours truly, Jerry Punch, Dave Despain, and Bill Weber, bringing you live action NASCAR Busch Series style. And Buckshot gives him a bump. As we got cars spinning the second and third place cars. That's Elliott Sadler, the 29, Jeff Fuller in the 45. They're involved up out of turn 4. And Fuller's car came up across the fender of Sadler. We'll bring out the caution flag for the 10th time tonight. Some of our lead cars involved in a shunt up in turn 4. Carl Simmons going to need some Ben Gay tomorrow for that tennis elbow, that caution flag elbow, waving it so much tonight. 10 times already. See if we can see what might have happened up in turns 3 and 4.
Well, it looks like the 29 car ran up very quickly onto the 48 of Randy Porter, and when he checked up, the 33 car of Fedewa running in the back of him, turning him around, and then Jeff Fuller had coming through that smoke. You couldn't see at all where he was going.
He probably couldn't see a thing, and that's the damage that on the left rear, or what's left in the left rear of the Phillips 66 Chevrolet for Elliott Sadler. Sadler, who has won 2 in a row and trying to go for the hat trick tonight. The first time a Busch Series driver would have won 3 in a row since Larry Pearson did it way back in 1987. Looks like that car heavily damaged, but didn't lose a lap. But does have some significant damage. Here's the onboard camera angle.
We're in Elliott Sadler's car. There's the 33 car. Run up on the inside of him, turn him around. Here, Elliott wide open into power. Wide open into power, and then all of a sudden, Jeff Fuller just could not see him and run up all over the back of him.
Well, visibility, the major offender there is, as you said, Elliott checks up. Fedewa tags him, and then Fuller could not see. 183 laps complete. Our field summary: LaJoy, Sadler, Fedewa, Fuller, Sawyer, Grubb, Kenseth, Krogh, Shaw, and Jones. That's the top 10. As you see the top 15 on your screen, there are 21 cars in the lead lap. Dennis Setzer managed to stay out there and get his lap back by virtue of passing LaJoy, so he is in 21st spot. You see where your favorite cars and drivers are running. And the cars that are out, LePage, Knott, Stewart, Hall, Grubb, McLaughlin, Fuller, and Lagasse, those cars have called it a night. 31 cars still on the racetrack of the 39 that started. If they ended right now, the points would pull apart significantly. Todd Bodine coming in tonight was only 58 points behind LaJoie, and that would grow to 156 points. Phil Parsons would hang on to third. Steve Park would go fourth, and Elliott Sadler fifth. Lots of racing action to come your way tomorrow. Our Speed World coverage, NASCAR Winston Cup Brickyard 400 on the grid live from Speedway, Indiana at noon Eastern time. That's a 1-hour pre-race show to set up what's going to happen next on our sister network as we present to you live flag-to-flag coverage of the 4th annual Brickyard 400 at 1 o'clock Eastern time on ABC Sports. That's just across town, about 20 minutes away. And coming up next, Linda Cohen and Steve Levy standing by for Sports Center updates you on all the action and sports around the country and what's happening, scores and highlights. That's all coming up in just a few minutes, about 16 laps away.
I think the 29 crew ought to think about pulling Elliott in here and try to get that fender pulled off that tire. I believe that's going to cause a major problem if he goes back under green with that tire being rubbed by the fender.
Let's check in with Bill Weber.
Well, Brett, that's exactly what they're mulling over. In fact, Sandy Jones is actually walking to the wall here alongside the track, talking to his driver. He can see this side of the car, which is ugly, but is probably raceable. We've only got 15 laps to go. We can't see the right side of the car. You guys up there in the booth can. But what they're debating here is how long this caution is going to last. Obviously, one to go now, and whether or not Elliott can safely limp that car around in the closing laps.
All right, Elliott Sadler trying to hold on and maybe get a good finish here in the final few laps. He is currently 6th in the point. There is Sandy Jones, longtime crew member, worked with Junior Johnson back in the early years. Darrell Waltrip was with juniors. They were very successful. Now Sandy, the crew chief for the youngster, up and coming, an impressive young driver, Elliott Sadler. There's LaJoie, the leader. Sadler in second. Fedua is third. Restart. 185 laps have been complete as they wave the green flag on the final lap of the Kroger 200.
Whoa, little contact there in the back. Buckshot got in the back of Dale Shaw and just turned him going into the first turn. Caution again flies. Dale Shaw in the 4 car got spun around. Contact from Buckshot Jones.
Those cars involved. There's Mark Green involved in the 37. Phil Parsons is involved.
Phil Parsons after struggling to stay on the lead lap.
And after there is Shaw. Here's the watch a 00 car in the middle of your screen.
Just drives all in the back of the 4 car getting down into the first turn.
And Steve Park able to spin and get away, but nowhere to go for Phil Parsons after that great run to get back on the lead lap. The man who is 3rd in the point standings involved in this latest incident as caution on the racetrack for the 12th time tonight. 187 laps are complete. We'll come back and update the damage on Phil Parsons' Channel Lock Chevrolet in just a moment. Back at Indianapolis Raceway Park, we are just 12 laps from the conclusion, but we are working caution flag number 11 tonight, and the Channel Lock Chevrolet is on pit road, and Phil Parsons getting some severe work done there. Here's what happened to Phil from his in-car camera.
Well, there you have it. The 4 car gets spun, and Phil, with no place to go, committed to the outside lane, and the 4 car spins up in front of him.
Look at I have seen demolition derby cars that look better than this, and this is a Busch Grand National Series car. And take a look. I mean, there's not much left to sponsor on this car. The Lysol machine. They may want to spray that thing with Lysol and put it out in the pasture somewhere when this night's over. But he is in 17th spot, folks, still on the lead lap. We're talking about Tracy Leslie, who won here back in 1993.
That is unbelievable. the dead car can still make it around the racetrack.
That is a moving billboard for bungee cords. Folks, that's how you keep them together. You got to talk about Jeff and Hubert Hensley have built this car, and what a job. I mean, if you're driving a car like that, I mean, what do you think? I mean, from the inside, it looks pretty good, probably.
Exactly. He probably doesn't really know how bad it looks on the outside. He's going to get out of that thing when this race is over and say, I can't believe it finished.
Well, this one doesn't look a whole lot better. That's Hermie Sadler, but you got to give them a call, the DeWalt team, getting him back on the racetrack. His Chevrolet Hermie was 10th in the points coming in, so he wanted to try to get back out and make up some ground if he could. He started 18th, involved in an incident. Now being shown 29th overall. I tell you, we talk about the Thunder Valley in Bristol, Tennessee, and how wild it gets there. They got nothing on Indianapolis Raceway Park, folks. You folks that get to watch Thunder on a weekly basis and get to come here and be a part of this, I tell you, this is an exciting racing. Now I know why everyone loves coming to Indianapolis Raceway Park and why, even though you have a lot of damage on cars, the Busch Grand National Series drivers love coming to this racetrack.
Well, it's a racetrack that it's a driver's race. You really gotta manhandle the car and get it around the racetrack.
Well, that what we showed you a moment ago, that was what was left at the front of the Channel Lock Chevrolet of Phil Parsons' car. Here's Matt Kenseth. Yeah, he's got the Kraft and Kroger emblems on the side of his car, number 17. Driving for Robbie Reiser.
He's running in 6th place. Had a good run tonight.
There's Tracy Leslie. They're going to bring him to a halt at the end of pit road. 10 laps to go. Still working caution flag number 11. There is the left rear. And see that groove being worn in the tire by a piece of sheet metal on the side of that car.
I'm just amazed that that tire isn't blown out yet.
All right, NASCAR next Saturday, the Busch North Series, the Burnham Boilers 150 from Watkins Glen. That's coming live at noon Eastern time. We'll have more exciting action. Mike Stefanik has been awfully tough in the Busch Grand National North Series, trying to win both the Busch North Series and the Federal Modified Tour. We'll be back up there with on the exciting road course at Watkins Glen in the Finger Lakes region of New York next Saturday, live at noon. Less than 10 laps to go as they flash by, and they brought out the tractor, which looks a whole lot better than some of these race cars that are running around here right now.
Well, we see all the speedy dry all around the racetrack. When Phil Parsons made contact down there in the first turn, it evidently busted the radiator or oil cooler or something, and he drove around the track and put down a lot of liquid, and they're trying diligently to try to get this thing cleaned up so we can get this race back under green for the finish.
You know, last night, Jimmy Hensley led 201 laps of the Craftsman Truck Series, the Cummins 200 here at Kroger Speedfest. They had a problem late in the race. He had a restart. He chose a line. Ron Hornaday chose a line on the restart because of a lot of speedy dry down in the turns, and Hornaday got by him and won the race. You got to wonder if LaJoie saw any of that last night, thinking about now, hey, we're going to get a restart with probably about 6 laps to go, and then we have got a layer of speedy dry down in turns 1 and 2. There's only one groove. I got a guy behind me that's had nothing to lose. He's got a fender rubbing his left rear tire, part of the sheet metal missing, and I probably don't have a scratch on this car. What do you do?
Well, I'm sure Randy LaJoie is not going to give that high lane up no matter what. I think he's going to make Elliott Sadler dive to the inside and try to hold him off until they get to the 3rd turn down there where the racetrack's pretty clean. But it is going to be very treacherous up there in the 1st and 2nd corner with all that speed right now.
And by the way, for you fans, LaJoie, if he is a repeat winner, gets an extra 10 grand from Kroger. And yeah, there's a part of that crowd on their feet here tonight at Indianapolis Raceway Park, a crowd of some 35,000. Yeah, these fans here in Indiana, they love their racing, and they love coming to Indianapolis Raceway Park, and they are watching the Jumbotron, the big Kroger Vision screen, on their feet, as many of the crew members are, watching and listening to our telecast of live Busch Series action. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
With Sandy Jones, crew chief for Elliott Sadler. You've left him out there. Your car's not very pretty. Is it raceable?
Well, yeah, we wouldn't leave him out there. I don't think we got anything for Randy the way we're tore up, but perhaps we can salvage at least a top 5 out of it.
Is the car safe, not rubbing? Are you able to tell that, Sandy?
Yeah, we're okay. We're okay. As long as we're under racing conditions, we're fine. It's a little rub under the caution here, but only when he hits a bump. actually in racing conditions, we're okay.
Would you rather see it stay yellow here to the end? Would that protect your position?
With us running second, you bet.
Okay, that'd be a big win for you.
Yeah, it would. It really would.
Okay, we talked at the beginning of this race about how all the winners don't always go to victory lane. Elliott Sadler right now has won 2 in a row, and he's second on the racetrack. He doesn't have anything for Randy LaJoie, so if this thing stays under yellow, he can bring that wrinkled race car home, pick up a bunch of points, and have himself back-to-back wins and a second-place finish.
Hey, Bill Weber, we got a camera shot a moment ago. That left rear tire is rubbing. Brett, wouldn't you say that left rear tire for Elliott Sadler is rubbing? And there you can see a bit of a groove on the inside of that left rear tire where the sheet metal is rubbing. It has worn a dark spot we saw when it came by, so you got to wonder if Elliott Sadler could be able to make it these final 6 or 7 laps. Take a look at the inside of that left rear tire. There's a groove being worn by the sheet metal inside the tire. There's that groove. And it definitely has a rub, and you got to wonder if that tire will stay up when they go back to green flag racing these last 6 or 7 laps.
Well, I'll tell you, right there, great shot of that fender cutting into that tire. What Sandy's saying about under race conditions is they go through the corner, the left side will actually raise up and take that fender away from the tire. But riding around here on the caution, the car settled back on the left side of the chassis, and that's what's causing the rub. That's a tough call to make for a crew chief. He can see what's going on. The driver can't see what's going on, doesn't know how bad it is. It's going to be interesting to see if that thing makes it to the end.
All right, Elliott Sadler currently 6th in the point standings, 2 wins and a second in his last 3 races out. He was trying to pull off the hat trick, make it 3 in a row. No Busch Series regulars won 3 in a row since Larry Pearson did it back in 1987. And Sadler hanging on, 2nd spot. We'll have 6 laps to go this time by. Cleanup continues up in turns 1 and 2, and NASCAR trying to be able to give these guys a chance to restart and run some laps, but they also want to get the track clean. As LaJoie is our leader, Elliott Sadler in 2nd, Feedaway is 3rd. Back and forth is Elton Sawyer, 5th, the car number 83. Great run for Wayne Grubb in 5th spot. 6th is Matt Kenseth. 7th, the 56 car of Jeff Krogh. 8th is Steve Park. 9th, Buckshot Jones. 10th, the 57 machine of Jason Keller. Back at 11th, Mike Dillon. 12th, the car number 7. That is Danny Edwards Jr., car number 7 at 12th spot. Glenn Allen Jr., 13th. The 14th, Lyndon Amick. And 15th, the car number 43, Dennis Setzer. 16th, the 78 machine. That is Nathan Butke. 17th is the 63 car of Tracy Leslie in 17th spot. Those 17 cars are still on the lead lap. With 6 to go, it'll be 5 to go next time by. They're trying to confer here with talking with Birdie, Steve Bird, 42-year-old team manager for Bill Baumgartner and Randy LaJoie as to about the restart. When they ask the crew chief about the racetrack and they ask you, I mean, what do you tell them?
Well, a lot of times it depends on where you're at on the racetrack. Randy LaJoie probably wouldn't mind seeing this thing finish under the yellow as much speed he drives it down on the 1st and 2nd turn. The guys behind him are saying, well, I think we need to restart and get after this thing.
So they're asking Randy, he said, oh, it's still too much stuff, too much oil out there, right?
No question about it.
And they're asking Elliott Sadler's team, and they're saying, oh, you kidding me? The track is dry and clean. Let's go.
Let's go. Drop the green flag.
All right, there is the left hand in the air. That was Carl Simmons, and he says 1 lap. And that finger down means single file restart. Next time by, it'll be a 4-lap shootout. 4 laps to determine who's going to win the 16th annual NASCAR Kroger 200.
Well, we got a couple things going on here. The speedy dry down in the 1st turn, is Randy LaJoie going to be able to, because he's going to be the first car through it. How bad is it? Is he going to be able to control his car through that area? Is Elliott Sadler's left rear tire going to make it to the end of the race? We told you folks at the beginning of the show, you never know until it's over, and it certainly isn't over yet.
And the finishes here at IRP over the years of NASCAR Busch Series racing have been wild. They have been absolutely wild. So, folks, 4 laps to go. Tighten your seatbelts. LaJoie is going to try to hang on and see if he can get win number 2.
Well, the yellow flag's back out. Evidently, they've determined the track's not quite ready yet for racing.
So So they've actually sent a NASCAR official down there. He's walking down toward turn 1 on the racetrack. As Carl Simmons there now at left hand, he's cueing his headset radio. That's a button on top of the headset radio, cueing that radio, talking to the people in the tower. Coming up next, Linda Cohen, Steve Levy at Sports Center. All the scores and highlights. Well, Brett, if you were leading, what would you do? Would you back off on the restart a little bit going into 1? Would you ginger it, or would you just barrel in there and say it's going to stick?
No, you got to make sure you don't get the car in the fence or get it in trouble. Like I said, though, protect the outside lane, because once you clear the second turn, the racetrack's in good shape after that. So don't give up any of the high ground. Make sure you've got plenty of racing room on the bottom to give Elliott a chance to take a run at you, but don't let him get that outside.
So let me see here. Number 1, cover the outside. Number 2, be careful. Number 3, say a little prayer that you're going to make it back here in 4 laps.
That is for sure.
All right, there's Carl Simmons. Got that real serious 1 finger down, 1 single file restart. Next time by, this guy right here has got to be hoping that maybe that left rear tire, when he gets out of that race car, this thing makes it, he's going to go over and hug those Goodyear engineers.
No question about that, because that's a pretty serious rub, and the tire's doing a great job holding up so far.
Well, as they say in the movies, folks, rubbing is racing, so we'll see what happens here these final 3 laps. 3 to go. LaJoie, Sadler, Fedewa, Elton Sawyer, who's finished second here twice. And back in 5th spot, the 83 car of Wayne Grubb. Bill Weber, Dave Despain, Brett Bodine subbing for the injured Ned Jarrett. Will be back next week. And Jerry Punch bringing you the final laps of the green flag waves. And LaJoie, can they make it through turn 1?
Those guys are slipping and sliding on that speed route. That's a treacherous part of the racetrack. Steve Park has jumped up on the outside of the 56 car, and he's going to take over 8th and 7th spot.
Okay, Park has made a move. Here's LaJoie. He's hanging on. Still that left rear tire holding up on Sadler. 2 to go. It'll be white flag next time by. Fedewa tries to make a look to the inside on Sadler for 2nd spot. There's the look out the back of Randy LaJoie, Chevrolet. Fedewa now within 6 inches of the rear bumper. Tries to make a move to the inside. Can't make it stick. And now Elton Sawyer looks to the inside of Fedewa. Now he goes high. White flag. Final lap at Indianapolis Raceway Park. 4 cars, nose to tail. And Sadler slips a little bit. Fedewa looks to the inside. They tangle, they tag, they touch in the backstretch. Sadler holds it in. Fedewa drops off a half a car length.
Elton Sawyer making a run on the outside for 3rd place.
Here they come out of turn 4, and LaJoie will win it. Sadler in 2nd and 3rd spot. Well, that's going to be a tough one to call as they celebrate down in the Fina pits. For the 2nd year in a row, Randy LaJoie has won the Kroger 200.
That guy, that was an unbelievable move. I don't know how you did it.
And LaJoie inside the car. Let's see if we can listen in, maybe even talk to Randy to congratulate him.
Randy LaJoie, this is Brett Bodine. Great job, buddy. That 1st and 2nd turn was awful slick those last couple laps.
We're going to have a flashback of St. Louis with, first car there is usually got a mess. But it's all base motorsports team put me in a good race car, and I'm just glad to be driver.
Well, congratulations to you, Randy, and take that thing to victory lane.
All right, Randy LaJoie goes to victory lane for the 5th time in 1997. He dominated this race throughout the night. For the second year in a row, LaJoie takes the win here from the pole. For Brett Bodine, Dave Despain, Bill Weber, I'm Jerry Punch congratulating Randy LaJoie. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Remember, SportsCenter coming up next with Linda Cohen and Steve Levy.